Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, so my name's Nick. I'm the owner of Shine Cleaning. We're based in Montreal. It's been about 8 or 9 months we've been in business, and yeah, that's basically it.
Good stuff. And then, were you born in Montreal and you grew up there as well?
Yeah, I was born in Montreal. Been in Montreal my whole life. Uh, I love it. It's a great city. It's the best city in Canada, arguably. Some people say Toronto, but Montreal is where my heart's at. And yeah, been here my whole life.
Awesome. Don't want to start a fight with other Booking Koala users who are in Canada who might be in different cities, so might have a
Yeah, it's
little
true.
war going on there.
I think they'd agree. I think they'd agree.
Okay, cool, cool. And then, favorite things to do as a kid?
Yeah, so yeah, my whole childhood was pretty much just I didn't really play sports. I did mostly independent sports, so like BMX with my buddies. I did dirt biking, snowboarding, those kind of things, like extreme sports.
Extreme sports. And then, like, what age did you start at?
Yeah, so I mean, I started with skateboarding at like eight, eight, and then I did that for a couple years. Then I did scootering, and then I scootered until like, let's say, like 12. And then one of my buddies was like, what are you gonna do if you're at the bar and you're talking to a girl and she's like, what do you do? And you have to say you scooter. So I was like, it's a good point. I'm gonna get a BMX. So then from 12 to like 20, I did BMX, and then in between, I do dirt biking and snowboarding, that sort of thing.
What was
But
your
no,
favorite?
BMX for sure.
Is it BMX because what your buddy said and turned you into it, or is it just
No,
because
no,
you
no,
found
no. BMX is like the one I was with the longest. That was
okay.
the one I was like the best at. Dirt biking's honestly really fun too. It's a lot faster, a lot more dangerous, but it's fun.
I snowboard myself. I love it. And I taught myself when I was 13. I started skiing when I was 3, but then I wanted to switch, so made the leap to snowboarding, and I'll never go back.
Snowboarding's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never skied, but it looks like a little easier to do the tricks. But snowboarding just looks so much sicker, when you're
It
doing the.
does, and I don't know. It just strapped to one board versus the two skis to me seems harder to manage than I don't know. That's my personal opinion. I did both, so I could say that, but I
You're
don't know
allowed.
if others would agree with me.
Yeah.
And then anybody in your family a business owner? Mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle?
Yeah, so my dad is actually a business owner. He has a custom motorcycle shop,
Oh, nice.
like custom Harleys, custom choppers, that sort of thing.
And
It's not a huge
has he owned
business.
it?
Sorry,
How long has he owned that?
I don't know, probably like 20 years. 20 years, yeah. But he's like an owner operator. He does like all the manufacturing himself, so he doesn't really employ anyone. But he does. He's more like an artist with the metal for making for
Okay.
bike. Um, and yeah, no, that's about it. Just my dad.
Does he do paint work as well, or just custom fabrication?
Just the custom fabrication, exactly. So like frames, handlebars, oil tanks, gas tanks, forks.
Have you ever helped him in the shop?
Yeah, yeah. I grew up helping in the shop a lot, working the lathe, that sort of thing. So I have a lot of experience in like that like hands-on stuff, like helping my dad. But also I went to school for carpentry, so I was in construction for like 5 years doing carpentry. So pretty
And
hands.
what was your favorite bike that you worked on with your dad?
Oh, well, I mean, we didn't specifically like he works with clients and kind of just like, he'll make like a gas tank for them, a custom gas tank for their bike. Like he'll look at the bike and he'll say like, oh, it looks good like this. We should build it like this, and he'll build out the gas tank for that guy's specific bike, or the bars, or the frame or something. So we never actually had like a full bike in the garage, but we have our own bikes. So you know,
What's
my
your favorite bike?
My favorite bike, I mean, depends on like if you're talking about dirt bikes or street bikes. Street bikes, I gotta say it's a Gixxer 1000. For dirt bikes, Any 252 stroke.
Okay.
Good in my books.
I had a Kawasaki Ninja in '09 for a summer, and
Okay.
it was a 250. I got used to it in about a week and a half, and
Yeah.
then started doing all sorts of crazy stuff on it. So I had to slow down a little bit, and then I ended up selling it to get something bigger, and I haven't gotten anything since, just because I'm always switching what I want. But
Okay.
one of these days, I'll get something again, and maybe ride up to Canada, and we'll take a ride.
We'll do a little trail ride. Sounds good.
Exactly. And then, what's your experience background? I know you said you went to school for carpentry. Did you go to college for anything else, or just specifically for that?
No, so out of high school, let's see here. Yeah, out of high school, I went straight to construction school because I was looking for like what's the fastest way I can make a certain amount of money per year, and that was construction. So I was like, I'll go into that. At the time, I started a clothing brand, so I was doing that and kind of using the construction money to fund the clothing brand. And so I did that for about 4.5 years, just construction clothing brand. And and yeah, no, I never went to college, never went to school past high school. Just kind of self-taught business from the clothing brand, learning everything from there. And then and then yeah, that's basically it. Ran that while doing construction.
For the construction, you went to trade school at least, or no?
Trade school. Trade
Yeah.
school.
And how long was the program?
12 months.
12 months.
Yeah. And
And
then
then, go ahead.
yeah, you finish, and then you do your apprenticeship, and then you eat shit for a little bit, and then you go into the trade and you start working on stuff. But it sucks. Like construction sucks. So really, ideally, I was looking just for an out, just for something to fund my projects until something would work. So I did that for a while. The clothing brand, we took it and we pivoted it into like a sort of just like a clothing brand slash a event production company. So we'd like throw parties and like the clothing brand would sponsor it,
Right.
and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And but then the pandemic hit, so they shut off like all events in Canada, and like you couldn't leave your house. All the bars were closed. So unfortunately, we had to like close it down. And then now I'm kind of here. Yeah.
And how long did you do the carpentry for?
Yeah, so the carpentry I did from I graduated school in October of 2018. So from there until December, this past December.
So about 3 years or so.
No, a bit more. It was like five. Yeah, like five, 4.5, 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was it wasn't that fun, but it's good hard work. You learn a lot about building stuff.
And you were doing it all year round, or were obviously in winter months you were slower, or was it a dead
Oh, it's
stop?
all year round. Yeah. Yeah.
How
You work in the cold. You work in the cold.
how did you like working in the cold? I mean, you already said it sucked, so
Oh
I'm
no,
sure
it
winter
sucks. It
was not
sucks.
good.
I have terrible circulation, so like if you're outside and it's minus 30 and like your hands are bricks and you're trying to pick up stuff and it's not working. But yeah, you learn pain tolerance. You learn pain tolerance. That's a good thing.
And mental drive to just keep going, not just pain, but mentally keep going. So that definitely translates with business in times of being slow and whatnot. So
I learned
definitely a good skill to pick up.
mental fortitude. Yeah.
Exactly. So when exactly did you start your business?
Yeah.
Your
So
your cleaning company.
the cleaning company. Yeah. So the cleaning company. I got interested in the industry in about October. So October last year, I was interested in the industry. I was kind of checking out the market size and the growth year over year, and it looked like a growing industry. And there's also like the factor that the baby boomer generation is going into retirement, and they're going to be selling all their businesses. And getting a nice house, and they're gonna have plenty of money on the side for cleaning services and home services in particular. So renovations, cleaning services, all home services are going to be there's going to be a lot of uh, there's going to be a lot of excess consumer capital to spend on those services. So I was like, this looks like a good market to go into. It's growing year over year. Plus, yeah, like the baby boomers are retiring. There's going to be a big influx of capital for consumer spending. So I was like, this looks like a good market to get into. So I started to kind of just research around, see kind of who else was building these companies, and then I definitely, yeah, the most the biggest thing I heard was Booking Koala. Like everyone was just like the best one is Booking Koala, like to run it. And honestly, I agree. Like you guys have built a great product that kind of has every detail kind of figured out. You know, from the simple basics all the way down to the long tail end of all the details. It's all figured out and there for you. And and yeah, so that's kind of how I got started on the software slash the business, and then yeah, I started building out the website on your guys's website builder, and got everything started, got the sole proprietorship up, talked to accountant, got the business accounts opened up, and then after everything was set up, I just started running ads. So
So you started thinking about it in October. When did you officially, pull the trigger and say, "All right, I'm doing it"?
yeah, so I built out like the website and the business plan, business model, and the marketing strategy. And then as soon as I felt ready, I just quit my job and just started. So,
So you didn't even wait for it to, start taking. You were just like 100% in. I'm doing this, and that's it. No distractions.
exactly.
Okay. And then when did you have your first booking?
Yeah, so it took a while because the thing is, in Montreal, or specifically in Quebec, is like the only place in North America that doesn't have Google LSA, believe it or not.
Hmm.
I mean, Toronto has it, Calgary has it, all of the US has it, but Quebec just has its own rules. They don't have the LSA. So I had to learn like the whole Google PBC ads manager, and that took a while. So it took me about a month of just testing and learning that platform. And yeah, so my first booking was February.
Okay, so February
Uh,
of this year.
yeah, so February was the first booking, and then I started hiring, and then I started like really refining the ads, and then March, yeah. So February was the first booking. It was like late February after learning the whole Google Ads PPC, and then yeah, that was the first one.
So in 5 months, how much revenue have you done so far?
Oh, total revenue. It was definitely slow in the beginning. So I mean, I'm trying to remember the numbers here. So March we did like 2,200 or something, and then April we did about 5,000, and then May we did 9,500, and then June we did 14,900, and then this month we're on track for 20,000. So I don't know what it adds up to, but it's,
Roughly already over 50K total
yeah. Well, it's growing like at least at 100%. Most months it's growing at 100%.
month
So
over.
yeah, month over.
And you have a good amount of recurring cleans, or are these mostly?
About 45% are recurring. Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. And then do you have, uh, are you doing the employee model or are you doing the independent contractor?
So we're doing the independent contractor, but I am thinking of uh, pivoting over to the employee-based model just for quality control and better customer experience. Because I'm in it for the long term. I want to build a brand. It's not so much of a side hustle for me. It's more of just I want to be a competitive player in the market. And independent contractors are great to start off, And I think if you have the right incentives in place, it could work. But at the end of the day, you know, controlling like the supplies they use is pretty important, and kind of just being able to tell them like like as an employee, you can tell them what to do, what not to do.
Right.
You can recommend them. You can't do that as an independent contractor. You have to just give them the work and hope that they do it correctly, which is in an unskilled trade like cleaning, it's hard to manage.
Then it comes down to, the way you can get around quality control issues with it being an independent contractor. If you send them back for a re-clean, or, if they get a complaint, then they get a, however you want to do it, basically mark against their name, and then X amount of marks against bad cleans, then you can let them go. I mean, there's tons of ways to build the quality control with independent contractors. But the biggest thing that you said is that you're in it for the long haul. You want to build a brand, and you want to compete with these big companies, the franchises, all those guys. And that's exactly how you do it. You've got to pivot to employees. That way you can give them clothes, and why am I
Uniform.
blank? Uniform. Yeah, you could give them a uniform. You can potentially give them, if you have like a team lead of like three cleaners, you can potentially give them a car later on that's
Yeah.
branded, and branded cleaning supplies and all that extra stuff that you can do with employees that you can't with the independent contractor. So it definitely makes sense. And
Yeah.
how many contractors do you have at the moment?
So yeah, we have about like five, with two new ones starting this week. But yeah, mainly we just have like two full times and a bunch of part times. That's another thing is scheduling. If you have if you have like 5 or 8 people with different schedules, some work on Tuesdays, some work on Thursdays, Wednesdays, and then it's just like managing those schedules. If there's a reschedule or something like that, it's quite it's
Yeah,
quite a headache. It's probably easier just to have a couple full time employees, and have the flexibility of being able to move bookings around without you know because that's another thing, people reschedule a lot in this industry, especially the moving cleans. Um, but no, that not to say that the independent contractor model is flawed, and it is possible to get around the quality control. Um, you know, like one thing I did, was kind of just try to align the incentives. So, my incentive is to have the client be extremely satisfied with the service, right? So, if you want to align that incentive with the cleaner's incentive, then you can base how you pay them based off the reviews they get from each clean. And that's one way of aligning incentives, because it's like if they go in and they do a bad job and they get a bad review, they get paid less or they get deranked, kind of like a Uber model.
right.
Uh, and so that would help, I mean, at least kind of align the incentives between you and the contractors. But you need something like that in order to, be able to continue with the independent contractors.
Absolutely. So I guess why? What was your big reasoning for wanting to start a cleaning service out of any other business? Because I mean, you had a clothing business or any other service business.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, my first job was actually house cleaning. Interestingly enough, I was like 16 years old cleaning houses. So like when I was there, I was just kind of thinking like while I was there cleaning, I was thinking, I could probably do a better job of managing this company. It seems like managed pretty badly. And honestly, the real reason I got into this business was because the competitive landscape was just very, you know, it's not very good. So you look at the websites; they're like websites from 2002, with a big phone number, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just I called like every competitor, and like a couple would answer. I would wait for a quote for days. It just seemed like anyone with, you know, good marketing and sales and a little bit of initiative can be a good competitor in the market. And yeah, it's a big industry. There's lots of money to be made, and uh, and yeah, that's about it. I mean, it's a good business to get into.
I feel like this industry is one of the last that is getting tapped into by the tech generation, our generation. Like you said, the baby boomers are close to retirement. Um, and then the next generation behind them are creeping up there. And those are the ones with those websites from the mid to late 2000s, and now you're seeing this generation who's so tech savvy being like, everything needs to be perfect. It needs to be all online.
Yeah,
Not to say that, their generation didn't want it to be perfect, but over time, they got lazy. The internet generation came up, they got their websites. And I feel like once they got their websites, they didn't change anything. They didn't optimize anything. They didn't stay with the times. And that's why everybody now is like you're saying. I feel like it's so untapped that, or the competition is not keeping up with the times,
yeah.
where I could start my own business and basically knock them out.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely it looks like that, and I see it's kind of it's gaining weight on the public consciousness. There's lots of people coming in from the tech sector that are trying to disrupt these kind of boring businesses, and it's definitely not as easy as you think it is. Because at the end of the day, it's still a tough business from an operational standpoint. I mean, you could build a great website, have great marketing, you could have great email funnels, but at the end of the day, like managing people and dealing with the general public is is its own job in itself, right? So it's kind of like you know, it is easy in that sense, but it's still just as hard as operating any other business, right?
Right.
It's definitely not a walk in the park.
Well, just like you said, any business is tough to run for its own reasoning. Whether
Yeah,
you're in product and you have massive overhead and you got to keep the physical product somewhere, or it's a service business where you're constantly talking with customers, resolving issues, working with, you know, independent contractors, scheduling issues and stuff like that. No matter what business you're in, it's tough because businesses have its ups and downs, and you got to go with the flow with that stuff. So
yeah.
definitely, definitely big differences in those. And do you personally see major differences in your clothing brand that you had before versus this?
So yeah, the big difference between clothing brand and cleaning service is, cleaning service people come and they call you, they need your service, and it's your job to sell them on your service versus someone else's. And for a clothing brand, there's millions of clothing brands, and you gotta, they don't need your clothing, so it's like all marketing, all branding. It's not so much sales. Um, but and then the difficulties are like, overseas manufacturing, dealing with, you know, people who speak different languages and trying to translate exactly what you want to them and then get what you actually want.
And then
It's a little
quality control issues, and
yeah,
you
yeah,
get stuff messed up, and now you have to wait for new things to come in and all that good stuff. And then, like you said, with a brand, um, the smaller your name is, the earlier you're starting out. Super tough to make sales.
yeah,
And if somebody does buy something, your product has to be so killer that they want that specific piece. And again, they're going to start with maybe one thing, see how the quality is, wear it a bunch of times, wash it a bunch of times, see if it shrinks, see if it doesn't, and then slowly and hopefully you get them to come back and buy stuff. Again,
yeah,
with product, they buy it once. They don't necessarily need to buy it for a long time, whether it's a hat, sunglasses, a hoodie, a jacket, shoes, whatever it may be. Whether it's a when it's a service, you could have somebody buying a service every week, or depending on what type of service it is, It could be multiple times a week. Like for a poop pickup service for dog poop, you can have somebody come to your house 3 times a week, every week, versus, you sell a dog leash, you'll sell it once a year maybe. If it breaks, then you sell them another one, or they're going to be mad that it broke, and now you have to go into your warranty issue stuff. So again, huge differences, but services are definitely more reliable, and I would say easier to get clientele. Not easy, but easier than a product.
Yeah.
So,
And
how much did you invest in your business when you first started?
uh, let's see. I started off with $2,200, and then I think I spent $2,200, but then I spent like $2,500 on just learning Google Ads. So there was
So
a lot of money because
2,500 was separate. That was just towards Google Ads, and then the 2,200 was towards the business.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So and then probably some of that 2,200 went to Google Ads as well. Yeah, I mean it you kind of have to pay to play, for Google Ads. I mean, for PPC ads, especially if you're not, I probably should have just paid like an agency to do it in the beginning because it probably would have been the same amount. But then I went to learn Google Ads, so I don't know.
That's
But
huge. That's huge. If you go into, jumping in and already paying an agency to do things for you, you don't know, because if you don't know anything of it, then you don't know if they're doing a good job, a bad job,
yeah,
or somewhere in the middle if you're getting ripped off. That's why I think, like yourself and anybody else who wants to learn it, spend the money and learn it and know, even if you're not getting, an ROI on your business and getting money back from the ads, you at least know for the future what works and what doesn't. And then if you do need to hire an agency, you're not going to get screwed over.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was a big process. That I mean, if it wasn't for spending that money, I don't know if I would have developed such a good website and such a good, you know, uh, such a good Google ad. Because really it was just like spending money, going to Google Analytics, looking through all the analytics, seeing, oh, this page was like they click off quicker, they click off slower, um, and then just kind of just doing that for weeks, and eventually kind of just tightening up everything, and then it started to get really good cost per conversions, and then that was it. But yeah, I was really developing the website so that because at the end of the day, people buy from a company where they trust that they're going to get the service they want. That's it. So unless you could build trust, you can't sell anyone.
Right.
So your website has to make the people feel like they can trust you. And so it took a lot of work to make the website, make it so it's people can trust it. And the Google Ads is all about kind of just reeling people in, you know. So you got to kind of learn exactly what copy to write, what keywords to target. Um, that's the most important thing. I mean, the fundamentals are like there's specific people writing specific keywords, and there's ones you don't want and there's ones you do want, and you got to figure that out. So you got to know what keywords to target, and then as soon as the people you want to target are seeing your ads, you got to show them the right thing so that they click. So that's the copy, that's the headline, the ad description, your assets, all that. And then once they click on the ad, it's your landing page. So it's those three key things that you really have to knock down in order to do good. I mean, it's the same as SEO, probably, right? Because it's the same idea. Um, you need to have those three fundamentals.
And then A/B testing. You know,
Yeah,
if your copy is one, you got to test the copy, you got to test the image, you got to test the landing pages,
yeah,
and then once you get you know through all that, you will optimize your ad significantly better than just throwing together. Oh, I like this picture, I like the way this sounds, and then this is my landing page. Well, That's you as the owner. That's not a
Yeah.
customer. So it's always got to be testing, always got to be figuring stuff out. Everything can always be better. It's not a one trick pony where you set it up once, it's over, and then you're going to get millions of dollars from all your customers coming in.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work like that. If it happens once, then you are the luckiest person in the world. But if somebody is trying it out and they're like, oh my god, I'm not getting any return, well, there's so many steps to take and revisit so that you can get better.
Yeah, I probably made like 30, 40 ads before I kept the one that I'm using right now. It took a long time. I mean, at the end of the day, it's human psychology that is kind of determining whether someone's going to click or not. And you know, yeah, you're only going to figure that out through A/B testing. You can kind of give a hypothesis. I would say just make like 10 hypotheses, which is like 10 ads, and then just run them all, see which one works the best. That's what I did.
Very nice. And then let's talk about your hiring. What are some of your best practices? What are some things that you tried out that you didn't like? Let's go into that.
Yeah. So for hiring, I specifically just use Indeed and Facebook too. I'll use Facebook in the hiring form on the website. So I'll use, for Indeed is most of where I get the candidates. I'll just run sponsored job ads, and good description. You kind of want to, in your job description, you want to like disincentivize people you don't want clicking on on the application, and you want to incentivize good cleaners. So you got to tell them, your mission, what you value, and what they're going to get, not just financially, but what they're going to feel when they're a part of your company. But that's more important. People will honestly, they'll work somewhere they like for less money than they'll work for someone, for more money that they hate, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta make sure that you get that emotional aspect in your job description, and then and yeah, I just run sponsored ads on the Indeed. They charge you, I think it's like $20 an application in Canada, but there's a little trick around that. Hopefully, I don't get my Indeed account banned, but it depends where you are, because some places they charge just by the month for Indeed, and some places they charge per candidate. So if you get charged per candidate, what you can do is you can just create like two message templates, one that says ignore this rejection email, and then one that says here's a link to go schedule an interview like on a Calendly or something like that. You send the interview link to them by message, and then when you need to reject them, you send the rejection message, and you just get candidates for free. So you could just always just reject them, but they'll schedule interviews with you on Calendly. So hopefully they don't see this. But little trick for anyone who's using Indeed. Um, yeah, other than that, I use Facebook with the hiring form on the website. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So are you using the hiring section in your Book and Koala account?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And how are you liking that?
it's good. It's good. I created like a page on my website with the form, and they can fill it out. You put some good screening questions, get a feel for the person before you call them. And no, it works great. It works great because it's professional to have something like that on your website, hiring form.
And how many steps do you have in your full process? So like once you send out the application, um,
Okay.
what goes after?
Yeah. So first you have like screening questions on the actual application. And like this is very important because you're gonna get an idea of the person you're dealing with and kind of save your time for the interviews. Because there's a lot of people out there that they're just not gonna match your standard. So a good question is always just you know I always just say, describe great house cleaning in 3 words, and you'll know everything you need to know about someone by their answer to that question. You know, um, because it's tough to formulate a response for that, and it really kind of tests their what they know about house cleaning and kind of just how quick they are. Um, so screening questions, and then I send the interview link if I like their experience, what they answer to the application, that sort of thing. And then we do the interview. The interview, you know, it's important you design the interview to like really get a feel for people and their experience. So I'll ask questions that are based off, experience, like, how do you clean stainless steel appliances? How do you clean hardwood floors? What do you use on black granite? Very specific questions so that like you could tell if like they've been cleaning a while or they're just kind of lying about their experience. And then you'll ask some kind of behavioral questions, try to get a feel for their character and their emotional intelligence, and then you'll ask questions, kind of situational questions to get a feel for, you'll put them in a scenario, like imagine this scenario, you know, and yeah, you see how they would react in a certain situation. I think those three are very good. Those three kind of pillars, and then I ask for 3 professional references. I do a reference check, background check. I do a final review of the application, and then I start them off with my senior cleaner. So my senior cleaner, she's awesome. She's gonna tell me right away. She's gonna let me know, like, this person, they missed this, or they brought this type of supplies that isn't good. So that's kind of my last vetting.
So does your senior cleaner take them to a test clean of like, a family member's house or a friend, or to an actual clean?
Through a booking, yeah, just to a booking. And if she's doing a bad job, she's gonna let me know, and that's it. So you know, it's quick and easy.
How long would you say your full hiring process, like from once you have a candidate interested that you like to, that the final day to where they're getting their own bookings?
Yeah, it probably takes, depending on how long they take to get their contract signed and their insurance and all that stuff. But if they do it really quickly, it could be like 5 days. Yeah, if it takes long, 10 days. And I forgot a step in there. I mean, I'll do, before their first clean, I'll do a full like Google Meet with like a 1 hour introduction to the company. Everything we go, our packages, our extras, kind of how everything works, our protocols, kind of just bring them into the company, and then they'll go do their first clean.
Okay. Uh, Background check. You do a background check, right?
Yeah,
What step in the process? Middle, beginning, end?
and
End.
it's
Okay.
the last because it costs money. so so it's
Just want
like,
to make sure, because there was not in an interview, but just some people I was speaking with through messages and emails, and they were saying how they're kind of burning money quickly because they're doing it in the beginning. And I was like, well, what's your reasoning? And they're like, well, I want to know their background. And I'm like, but you still can towards the end, and you'll save money. Like, you'll filter everybody out who won't even make it through to the end, and then if they're good, then run the background check. And they were kind of a little bit mind blown, and it's like,
I don't even run a background check until a month after they've been with us.
okay,
It's like, at the end of the day, like, the best background check is your own intuition about a person. You could kind of tell if someone's a criminal, like, you get a feel for the person. If they're a genuinely good person, and you've tested that through your interview questions, your screening questions, you just talking to them, then I mean, 90% chance they probably don't have anything to hide. But keep them, let them do a couple of weeks with you, see if they like it, if they're going to leave or not, and then do a background check, kind of a final thing. If you have to, cut them loose, and so be it's the last thing to do.
yeah. And again, you're not burning money through doing it super early or too early.
Yeah, exactly.
Marketing. I know we've already talked about Google, LSA and ads, but what are some other marketing strategies that you've been using and some successful tactics?
Yeah, so marketing is all about brand positioning. Okay, so it's really about, who is your company for? Because everyone, if you want to serve everyone, you serve no one. It's kind of like that. So you have to choose a specific market, specific persona you're targeting. If you're just like the I clean for everyone, I clean anything you give me, then you're just like everyone else. You have no, unique value. Um, that being said, the position you take, if you're, the position I took in my company is if you're looking for the best, like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly cleaning company, this is what we do. We don't do commercial, we don't do office, we don't do anything. We only do houses, and we design everything around houses. So if you're looking for the best in houses, like that's who we are. And so then people who are looking for houses, they kind of feel like, oh, this one stands out compared to the jack of all trade, all the other companies, right? So really, the position you take, you want to be for a specific audience. Um, positioning. That's the most important thing. Brand
And
position.
are you only doing Google ads, or are you doing Facebook ads? Are you doing SEO, email marketing? Are you doing
Yeah,
everything
so
else?
I do. I do Google Ads. I tried Facebook retargeting. Wasn't really pleased with the results. It just costs as much, if not more, per lead. But Google Ads works great, and then you use like a lead, a lead capture for the Google Ads, and then you use the lead capture to run email marketing. So you nurture your leads. Everyone you don't close, you nurture over a week or two, and yeah. So email marketing. I mean, you want to, for email marketing, someone submitted a quote. I mean, a request for a quote, so they're clearly interested in getting a cleaning service. So you want to, tell them, you want to educate them on the value of your company. So that's what the email should do. They shouldn't be like, buy us now. It should be like, here's why you'd even want to go with us. That's what your emails should do. They should teach them, the value of your company and kind of things they don't already know, because all they can judge you off is the price right now. And if you're the highest price in the market, then you better do some work to show them why you're valuable. Um, so yeah, you want to, that's what you want to do in your email marketing.
Like that. Definitely like that. And I know you touched a little bit in the beginning, but the difference between you and your competition, what are you doing differently? I know you're only sticking with houses, um, but expand on that. What else are you doing more so to
Yeah.
capture your customers?
Okay. So from you mean like in a marketing sense, or like a for the actual, you know
Overall, everything in general. What makes you stand out from everybody else?
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, from the competitors that are in Montreal, um, I would say, obviously just the stuff that comes with booking Koala. So, like fast quotes sent right to your email, SMS notifications, um, just really good customer service, being really quick. As soon as a lead comes in, call them right away. They're very surprised by that. You'd be surprised. It's very simple. Just answering very quickly, being very friendly on the phone. People buy from people they like, not from companies. Um, so that's like pre-purchase, kind of make them feel comfortable and going with you. After, what are you doing? What am I doing to, kind of make the service a very good service? Well, I mean, taking a hard look at your checklist and making sure that you have enough time for each checklist item to do a good job is very important. Um, Setting the expectations for the cleaners and making sure the incentives are aligned with them, very important to make sure that the only thing that a cleaner should care about is the review from the client. That's what they should care about. So making it so it's like that, however you want to do that. If it's a weekly bonus you take away if there's a complaint, or if it's you pay a certain bonus for 5-star rating, whatever it is, however you want to incentivize them, to deliver quality service, and follow up with your clients after they're cleaning. Make sure they feel like it's personalized. Say, do you want to add anything to the notes? Is there anything you don't want us to touch? Anything you want a little more attention to? Make it feel personal. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, after that, you can go, like I said, you can pivot to an employee-based company. You can get all your own supplies. You can get the highest quality supplies. You can create cleaning methods to do jobs faster and more efficiently. But that you have to do with employees. So that's a whole different ballgame. But for right now, that's kind of what we're doing.
Very nice. How much time in the beginning did you spend versus how much time are you putting in now? Was it more in the beginning? Was it less in the beginning?
So in the beginning, it was probably like 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day. I mean, 8 hours a day, but how many hours are you actually like full in deep work? I don't know, maybe 5.5, and then the other 2.5 are kind of just floating around doing admin tasks, that sort of thing. And now I probably do like 10. So
So you're putting
it's
in more time now.
yeah, but it's because I want to. I don't think I need to. You know, I don't have a VA yet, or so I take all the calls myself. Um, just because I want to control the sales process a little bit. Um, but I might switch. I might get a VA for the actual operations. So like the day to day, the field ops. Um, but no, yeah, it's mostly a full day thing. Spend my whole day just trying to kind of build for long term. That's what most of my day from 6 to 12 is just deep work building for the long term. Then from 12 to 3 is really just administration. 3 to 5 phone calls, rescheduling, scheduling, operations. So
Very nice. And do you still have the clothing brand, or is this your only business?
this is it. Yeah, the
This
clothing
is
brands. Yeah, it
okay.
was still while it lasted. Yeah,
Where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 years. 5 years. 5 years. Hopefully, uh, in every major city in Canada. Yeah.
10?
10, I mean, hopefully sold by 5. That's, I mean, yeah, that's kind of my goal. 5 years, build like a national brand, and then sell if it makes sense.
And then have you thought about if you sold, what would you do next?
Yeah, I'd probably go into, um, I go into a different space, somewhere else, try something else. I like, innovating on industries. So I don't know, I'd find another industry and try to disrupt it a little bit.
Very nice. So let's go a little bit more towards the software now. How long have you been using Book and Call? Have you been using it from the very start,
Yeah.
or did you use any other softwares before that?
No, I just use Book and Call. I started in December. I've seen other CRMs like HubSpot, uh, or what are the other ones? I don't remember. But there's Jobber and stuff. But for cleaning companies, I mean, or those types of businesses where it's heavy scheduling, um, that's going to be your best bet. Book and Call is definitely going to be your best bet because it's just built out from, I mean, as far as, you know, I understand it, the owner owned a cleaning company himself, right? So it's
And
kind of built.
it still does.
Still does? Okay, there you go. So I like it was built around the specific model and the specific business. So it's really, like I said, it's built out from the fundamentals down to the long tail details, right? It's got everything. I mean, uh, yeah, it's got everything you could think of. I mean, every setting is pretty helpful. Like the settings you can set, you can find pretty much anything you want. to change um, from an operational standpoint. And yeah, no, I haven't used anything else. Don't plan on using anything else. Nope.
Awesome. And then I guess I know you've touched a little bit on it, but what kind of drew you into using it and why? And also, where did you hear about it?
It's a good question. Honestly, oh, actually, I remember it was. I was watching the. I don't know if you've seen it, but the video on the owner of Spruce Cleaning. It's like a YouTube video. What's the YouTube channel? Upflip.
Okay.
So he was interviewing like a cleaning company owner, and he said he uses Booking Koala. So I was like, Booking Koala, what the hell's that? And then I went to Twitter, like the side of Twitter that speaks about kind of businesses and stuff like that, and I saw a couple other people mention it, and so I just checked it out, and I was like, yeah, this is built exactly for cleaning company. So it doesn't make sense to go with anyone else. It's
Awesome. Um, and then what's one feature that we have that you couldn't live without?
one feature. One feature.
And I'll take away the whole being saying like, oh, the whole software or the booking form. Let's get into a little bit of specifics.
Okay, specific details. Oh wow. I would say like I don't know. Sending out quotes is like easy because you can edit the quote. You can say anything you want on the quote. Um, yeah, I'd say sending out quotes.
Quote feature, okay. And then what's one feature that you wish we had and why?
You wish you had. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, I know you guys because I upgraded to like the plus plan there, the final.
Premium?
Yeah, the premium. And I was doing, I was gonna switch from Mailchimp because Mailchimp is like, I don't know, after a certain amount of email subscribers, they start charging you like really hard. So I was gonna switch over to that, but because my company like primarily uses a lead form rather than like the actual booking, the website booking, I couldn't connect the lead form leads to the marketing section. But you guys, I emailed you guys about it. You guys said you were gonna fix that, so yeah. I'll be back when you fix that. But yeah, I wish you could connect the lead forms to the email marketing. That'd be better, and more email marketing. Like more notifications. That'd be awesome.
Excellent. Well, we're always expanding, we're always adding stuff. As you know, you already contacted the support team and they told you that we will be expanding it. So anything new that you think of or you want something built out even more that's already there, just email us and we'll jot it down and we'll take care of it. Final question here.
Yeah.
My favorite question is, what are words of encouragement that, let's say, your buddy or somebody else who's watching this video who's on the fence about starting their own, not necessarily cleaning service but service business, what words of encouragement would you give them?
Words of encouragement. Um, I mean, you could give the typical like persistence pays off. But at the end of the day, it's kind of it's what you do that matters, not how much of you do it. So you could work 8-10 hours a day. It probably won't work unless you do the right things. So make sure you do the right things.
Awesome. Nice, short and sweet. All right, Nick, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And we will be checking in with you in the next coming months and see how you're doing.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it.
Take care.